Welcome back to the shop. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I run a small 3D printing business in my basement. And today I had plans for a video that have now been thrown off the rails. I think I just messed up my P1S printer and we're gonna do a teardown video and fix this problem. Let's get going. So the main issue I'm having right now, which I've had one time before and I totally forgot about it, was that this can't retract. The filament is actually stuck no matter what I do. And I think it is stuck all the way in the actual extruder head. So let me pull my entire printer off. I'm gonna go set it on the workbench and then we're gonna tear this down.
Today's video is not going to be a tutorial on the actual breakdown of this machine, but I will leave links to all the documentation on how to do this in the video description.
So this is actually my second time with this problem. This morning I completely forgot that I had this issue a week ago, and now we're here again having to undo this entire thing. With my most recent product that I'll be uploading this week onto the shop, my whole plan today was to show you a video about manufacturing efficiency and finding ways to actually decrease the amount of time it takes to produce a part and your manual intervention to produce high quality pieces. All that being said, I needed this printer to pause at layer 12 and then just move the bed down 200 millimeters so that way I could put magnets in and have a lot of space to do that. And then once I press the play button or unpause button, I wanted it to then move the bed back up and restart from where it left off. And that's the problem. I will say I've had good success with coding with ChatGPT, but now that I'm coding with a manual physical thing that has to actually execute that code, I'm clearly missing some things because last time this happened, turned out that there's something wrong maybe with the retraction settings or lack thereof, and it is now bunged up the inside of the head and filament is stuck there and it's unable to retract. I can't get it out. So we're gonna have to snip all this apart, undo the entire head, and then find that little tiny piece of filament to fix this. It's not fun, kind of stressful.
I had a great question from Carrie Martz about what can go wrong with 3D printing, and I feel like this is actually a really great example of this. If you're getting into 3D printing or want to start a business in this area, knowing how to do these full teardowns of your machines are actually pretty important to be able to diagnose problems. It's not like a car where if you need an oil change, you can go to a mechanic. You have to know how to do this stuff yourself, but there is support from the community.
So now that we got this part out, which I believe is the extruder motor, now we have to go even further in and take these little screws out and take the circuit board to be able to access the actual gear housing itself. I'm very comfortable with taking apart little electronics and putting things together. If you're doing this for the first time because you have a similar issue, just be careful. There are really small ribbon cables on here with really small connectors, and those are the kind of things that you never want to force, either trying to pull them apart or pushing them together. If you ever have to force something, you're likely going to actually end up breaking it and needing to buy a new one. So just be careful, take your time, and go slow.
When I first disassembled this machine about a week and a half ago, this was the most nerve-wracking part for me because once you start getting into a deeper housing within the machine, there's just a lot smaller pieces and sometimes springs and gears. Luckily, Bambu has set this up really well where it's just find the screws and everything kind of just pulls apart as you need.
You can just barely in here see the filament, it like double backed. So let me see if I can get it out and then I'll. So here's the root of our entire problem, is it decided to double up or whatever when it I don't even know how that happened. Probably a retraction setting again is my suspicion, but there we go. That's what caused the entire thing. Problem solved, got the filament out. Now it's just a matter of putting it all back together, and then to be safe, I'll have to run a recalibration of the machine, but you've already seen how it goes apart. I'm just gonna do all the work, put it back together. You guys don't need to see that on camera, and I'll get back with you in just a minute here. Back up and running. I hope I'm doing the calibration, and then I'm just gonna do some very basic test prints, just print a cube with no custom G code or anything. That's an experience, and to be honest with you guys, that is very stressful. I do not like taking it apart to that level. Just so many little fiddly bits, and then, you know, it's a precision machine, so you wanna make sure you put it back together just right. But at the end of the day, while stressful, it's actually not too challenging. There's a lot of good documentation online about how to fix it. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. Today, I had different plans, but sometimes life just comes at you. But I thought it would be really important to kind of show you some of the dirty work or the stuff that's not necessarily fun about running this type of business. Now, again, be warned that if you're going to be adding your own custom G code, this could be potentially something you run into. Maybe it just means do more research and perhaps don't just use ChatGPT to spit out the code for you. Once again, just a learning lesson. As a heads up, on Wednesdays, I have live streams at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If that time changes, I'll let everybody know, but that typically works for me on my end. Next weekend, we will go through and actually talk about what I had planned for today, which is going to be how you can actually look at making your prints more efficient, whether that's through the actual modeling process or doing some cool things with the printers themselves. I'll have this G code all finalized by then and hopefully not have to take the machine apart again. But either way, appreciate you all. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe. It does help the channel a lot, and I'll see you next time.